Football Podcast, everybody. I'm your host, Jim Neander. Hope you're all doing great today. All right, y'all, we have another great episode for you. We're still going over Week 6, wild and wacky Week 6. Yeah, it was a weird one. Lots of low scores out there, lots of bust players, lots of surprise players. Obviously it happens every week, but really to a different level this week. It was kind of brutal, man. Again, I mentioned it on the first half of the reaction show for Week 6 that I don't think I've ever seen so many scores in the 80s across a lot of my leagues, and 80s and 90s were all over the place, man. So it was a tough one, listen, but a couple good things. There were a lot of big performances, like I said, some players that were finally starting to come around. It was a relatively light week for injuries, thankfully. So, you had that. So, hey, we're going to look at the good stuff and, yeah. All right, so we're going to pick back up here. All right, where are we? Let's go to Carolina. Let's jump right in here, man. Let's get this going. We got the Chicago Bears. Went on the road to Carolina, took their 4-1 record to play a pretty strong Carolina team, and got the job done. Moved to 5-1. They win 23-16. Not a huge game for fantasy purposes, but there were some points scored as always. Nick Foles, not in many people's lineups, and that's why 200 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Not a great game, but he did also run one in. So at the end of the day, you get 2 touchdowns, and it's not an awful day. The QB 15 on the week, it could have been worse. Could have been a lot worse. A lot of big names here under Nick Foles, Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Matt Stafford, and way down, Ben Roethlisberger and Aaron Rodgers, way down. So, yeah, it really could have been worse. You could have played Nick Foles. Not too bad. They got the win. They're 5-1, man. They got a nice little lead. They're leading the division. Gotta feel good if you're a fan of the Bears. All right, David Montgomery, 19 carries, 58 yards. Not a great game on the ground, but he did catch 4 of his 5 targets for 39 yards, and those 4 catches is what made his week. Kept him in the game there. He was the running back 14 in PPR formats. Not a bad week for Monty, and as long as he's still getting that receiving work with Tariq Cohen out, you're going to be happy to be playing him in your running back 2 spot for sure. Excuse me, let's look at Allen Robinson here. 9 targets, caught 5 of them, 53 yards. So not a great game, but not bad. 9 targets is, what you need to see. Usually that'll be wind up with a few more points for Allen Robinson, but at least didn't hurt you too much there. Darnell Mooney, the rookie, caught 3 more passes, 5 targets, 36 yards. Continues to be, someone that needs to be kind of on the radar, but not good enough week to week that you're thinking about playing him at this point. And Anthony Miller, kind of disappeared, caught all 3 of his targets for 8 yards somehow. I don't know. I didn't see those 3 catches for 8 yards. But you'll have to let me know how in the world that actually happened. And the one pass that went through the air for a touchdown was to the other tight end, Cole Kmet. Caught both of his targets for 20 yards and a touchdown. Now, Jimmy Graham was much more involved in the offense, still had a good week, and still actually, almost scored as many points. But he had 8 targets, caught 5 balls for 34 yards. That's a nice game for Jimmy Graham. 8 more targets. You just can't deny his level of involvement in the offense at this point, and needs to be rostered for people that don't have a really good tight end. All right, tough game for Teddy B. Tough game for this Panthers offense. 216 yards through the air, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So, again, with the matchup here against Chicago, even though he'd been playing well, I don't think a lot of people were playing Teddy Bridgewater. I did not recommend to do so. And, hopefully you didn't. There's better days ahead for Teddy Bridgewater. He's been looking good, but just, a tough matchup here, and I think he'll rebound. Mike Davis didn't have a great game, but got into the end zone, 18 carries, 52 yards for a sub 3.0 yard per carry. But, got into the end zone on the ground. Also, did a little bit of work here, much less involved in the passing game than he had been. Caught 2 of his 3 targets for 3 yards. So, the touchdown was your saving grace here for Mike Davis. Without it, would have been a really bad week, but as his time is coming to a close here, as we wait Christian McCaffrey's return, you're hoping to get maybe one more big game out of Davis if you played him. I played a team with Davis who also played Hunt and a couple other guys that didn't do well and still beat the shit out of me. So, that's the kind of week it was. Let's look to the outside here. DJ Moore, 11 targets. Hey, man, 5 catches, 93 yards. 5 catches on 11 targets, not great, but 11 targets is great. There's been a lot of talk about Robbie Anderson and, the amount of work he's getting compared to DJ Moore. So it's good to see DJ Moore get this big old whopping share of the targets, especially since he only threw the ball 27 times. So, 27, targets out there, and 11 of them went to DJ Moore. Very nice. Robbie Anderson did have a nice game, though. 5 targets, he caught 4 for 77. So a much more efficient game for Robbie Anderson, and still looking very good. So I still like Robbie Anderson. And then there's still nobody else you want to look at. I mean, Curtis Samuel was not involved in this game. I guess he was out, I don't even know. But I didn't have any stats. Didn't do anything. Says he's questionable. Yeah, I don't know. I guess he missed the game. I'm going to go ahead and assume that he missed the game. And yeah, nobody else did anything here. So that was it. Kind of an ugly game there. And we'll hope there's better days for your Panthers ahead. But that was kind of an ugly one, yeah. And they lost that game, moved to 500, 3-3 for the Panthers. All right, let's go to Jacksonville here. The Jacksonville Jaguars hosted the Detroit Lions. Both of these teams only had one win going into the game, and it was the Detroit Lions that came away with their second win. They win 34-16 on the road. Jacksonville really couldn't get anything going in the first part of the game. It was kind of an ugly game for them, just overall, really. Let's talk about Detroit first. They were on the road here. Matt Stafford, not a great game for 34 points scored, a lot of rushing touchdowns, 223 yards through the air with a touchdown and a pick. So he was probably a relatively popular start, and you weren't very happy with it. But you had rushing touchdowns. What are you going to do about that? 2 of them from Deandre Swift, who I've been talking about again since before the freaking season started, right? It was like, listen, they bring in AP. All right, he's going to get some work. But DeAndre Swift is definitely the most talented guy out there now at this point, and needs to get the ball. We need to see what we got in DeAndre Swift. They hadn't been getting him involved almost at all. And then they finally started to get him involved. 14 carries, 116 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Also added 3 receptions on 4 targets. Only 7 yards. Didn't do too much with them. But welcome to the club here, DeAndre Swift, number 3 running back on the week. And let's hope this is the turning point. I mean, AP had 15 carries, 40 yards, and a touchdown. That's a 2.7 yard per rush average. And DeAndre Swift needs to be the 18 to 20 carry running back in this offense. He looked great, which I knew he would when he got on the field. So let's hope that happens. All right, let's move to the outside here. Kenny Golladay caught 4 of 6 targets for 105 yards. Not a bad game, right? You always get that high average, those high yardage averages for Kenny Golladay. And, you just want to see a little bit more work, but you're all right with it. Danny Amendola, 2 out of 2 for 31. Marvin Jones, 2 out of 5 for 8 yards. Big bust game for Marvin Jones. What else do we have going on here? TJ Hawkinson caught 2 balls for 17 yards and a touchdown. So at least he got into the end zone. That was what you needed if you played Hawk. And again, it wasn't a great game through the air for Matt Stafford. Got a lot done on the ground. Is what it is. Gardner Minshew, 243 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Hasn't been playing that well. He also ran one in, so 2 touchdowns combined for Gardner. Where did that put him? He's got to be... Where are you at? I can't read. Is he the number 12 quarterback right now? All right, I guess that second touchdown put him up into quarterback 1 range, so I'll have to take that back. Not a bad week for Gardner Minshew. It was a pretty bad week for James Robinson until he caught a touchdown pass, but 12 carries for 29 yards has been trending down for James Robinson, unfortunately, who I have shares of. He was the number 9 running back on the week, so again, number 9 running back is fantastic. 15 PPR points. He caught 4 passes for 24 yards and a touchdown. So the passing work continues to be relevant for him. It's just that, again, he's been trending down. The performance, the usage, all trending down slightly the last couple of weeks, and not what you want to see. But you got what you needed out of Robinson this week. That's all you can ask for. All right, let's move to the outside here. DJ Chark leads the way in targets by far. Now, I say it that way because he did not lead in yardage or in effectability. Effectability. That cannot be a word, can it? I don't know. But on those 14 targets, he caught 7 balls for 45 yards. So, again, you're trying to look for the silver lining. You're really happy about the 14 targets. You're just disgusted by the final line. And is what it is. Now, Keelan Cole, another big old game here. 9 targets, caught 6 balls for 143 freaking yards, Keelan Cole. And he's had a few big weeks now at this point. I don't know how you decide which weeks you play him. It hasn't been an if Chark plays or not thing. So let's see. How many weeks we got that are good here? 5 for 47 and a touchdown. 6 for 58 and a touchdown. 4 for 43. 4 for 46. 2 for 25 and a touchdown. And then 6 for 143. So really, it's like 4 good weeks. 4 good weeks and a couple of okay weeks. Even those weeks, 4 for 43, 4 for 46, didn't kill you. I mean, it's not like you got goosed. So, listen, Keelan Cole continues to be someone that you just, you got to be thinking about. Laviska Shenault did get 7 more targets. Only caught 3 for 10 yards, though. Pretty disappointing there. You like the 7 targets again, looking for positive things, but overall, pretty ugly game for Jacksonville Jaguars offensive weapons. And, it is what it is, right? All right. Let's keep it rolling here. Oh, shit. All right, we'll talk about this game just for a couple of minutes here. We got the Dolphins. They hosted the Jets, and they took care of business 24-0. Shut out those Jets, those Le'Veon Bell-less Jets. Not messing around. I mean, listen, Flacco, $186, no touchdowns and a pick. They obviously didn't score at all. Frank Gore ran 11 times for 46 yards. Michael P. Ryan ran 7 times for 27 yards, so neither one really involved. Frank Gore did catch 4 passes for 24 yards. Not bad for Frank Gore. Michael P. Ryan was also a little bit involved. Caught 2 passes on 3 targets for 9 yards. So we'll see what the split is next week. Gase already said he wants to get P. Ryan more touches. He should want to get him more touches, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So we will have to see. We'll wait and see. If you're a Gore owner, you can expect to get 8+ points every week. And, if you're a Michael P. Ryan owner, you're sitting him on the bench until he gets a bigger split, right? All right, then on the outside here, you have 13 more targets for Jamison Crowder. Target fucking magnet. Only caught 7 balls for 48 yards, but it was a serviceable game. And you're expecting wide receiver, 2 or 3 numbers out of him with a little bit better upside. Brashad Perryman had a nice game here coming back. He had 8 targets, caught 4 balls for 62 yards. So that makes you feel good. And, Ryan Griffin, I guess, I don't even know if Herndon was in or not. He had no targets. So Griffin caught 2 balls, but the tight end continues to be a non-existent factor for the Jets. Just like everything else, pretty much. All right, Fitzy. Talking about Fitzmagic over here. $191, 3 touchdowns, but also 2 interceptions. So, an all right week for Fitzpatrick. Not great, but he was definitely, good if you streamed him. Right? You got to love 3 touchdowns any week. Any week you get those 3, you're happy. He was right on the borderline of QB1 this week. Oh, this has got to be 4-point scoring too. I don't like this shit. You got to have a choice for this, Fantasy Pros. Why is you have Fitzpatrick scoring 18 points? He threw 3 touchdowns. That's 18 points. Minus 4 for interceptions is 14. And then, 4, 18. He should have like 22 points. But he has what? 18? Yeah, that's weird. 4-point scoring is weird. Touchdowns are 6 points. I don't know what else to say. Touchdowns are 6 fucking points. All right, let's move on. Myles Gaskin, another decent game. 18 carries, 91 yards. Caught 4 balls for 35 and, continues to be very involved. And he was the number 7 PPR running back on the week, if you can believe that shit. Matt Breida ran 6 times for 15 yards, so, just a little bit involved, but it's still the Myles Gaskin show by far. Devonte Parker had 8 targets before he left the game with, I think, a groin injury. 3 catches, 35 yards. We'll wait to hear about that, but that's unfortunate. Getting targeted a lot. Preston Williams got back into the end zone. Only had 2 catches on 3 targets, 18 yards, but he did, again, get into the end zone again. So that's encouraging for him, right? We had some tight end work here in this game. Unfortunately, none of it was Mike Gesicki. You had Adam Shaheen caught all 3 of his targets for 51 yards and a touchdown. You had Durham Smythe catching 1 of his 2 targets for 4 yards and a touchdown. And then you have Mike Gesicki, who didn't catch either of his 2 targets for the goose egg. I don't know, how do you predict that, right? How do you predict the goose egg for Mike Gesicki against the Jets? I don't think that you can. It would be unfair, I think, to just expect someone to be able to, to think that's going to happen, right? What are the odds? All right, this game was fucking weird. What are the odds of this shit happening, right? So, the Green Bay Packers go to Tampa Bay and get their ass handed to them. 38-10, drop their first game of the year down to 4-1. The Buccaneers move to 4-2, looking good. They have a running game all of a sudden. They have weapons. Tom Brady's efficient. Listen, good things going on here. Aaron Rodgers, 16 of 35 passing. I mean, that's really bad for Aaron Rodgers. 160 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. 1 was a pick 6, and they were basically almost back-to-back. They might have been back-to-back throws. Either way, it was very close, but just out of sorts. Got Devonte Adams back and just couldn't get anything going against this team, and just kept getting worse and worse. Tampa Bay put up 4 touchdowns in the second quarter, and just kind of never let it up from there. Aaron Jones, not a good day here. He got in the end zone, so it saved his day. 10 carries for 15 yards. You can do the math there, and a touchdown. He did catch 3 balls, 5 targets, 26 yards. But, the touchdown, again, obviously saved his game. But 10 carries for 15 yards, man. This Tampa Bay team can play some defense. A.J. Dillon got a little more involved, 5 carries for 31 yards. So they were getting worked in a little bit here. Let's go to the outside here. Devonte Adams, not surprisingly, led the team in targets with 10 targets, caught 6 balls for 61 yards. Not the game you were hoping for, but, you're glad to see him involved this much in his first game back. MVS caught 3 of 5 for 32. And that was pretty much it for the receivers. Robert Tonyan on the back of some big games. Caught 3 of 4 targets for 25 yards, and so listen, I get it. You're riding the wave, but we hadn't seen him do anything with Devonte Adams playing, and now we've seen 1 game with Devonte Adams, and he did nothing again. So maybe that is the fate of Robert Tonyan. The saga of Robert Tonyan has already come and gone. Maybe. All right, Tampa Bay, Tom Brady, buck 66 and 2 touchdowns. Didn't have to do a lot. Like I said, they had some rushing touchdowns. They were up big in the second quarter and just kind of coasted. After that, didn't give up any more points. But Brady looked good. He was fine. You're happy playing him. He's got his weapons back, and he's going to put it together. This team is going to take their time a little bit, and they're going to work their way towards that, playoff push, right? So, you see that happening. Yeah, and we'll see there's some bigger games on the way, but Brady's going to be, not a surefire quarterback 1 almost any week. He's good for 5 touchdowns sometimes, I guess, but hard to predict that also. But some games he's not going to have to throw, especially when the running game is just thumping along like it is. 23 carries for Ronald Jones, 113 yards, 2 touchdowns, added 2 receptions for 8 yards. So great game for Ronald Jones again. He looks good. He's bruising motherfuckers. I mean, he is punishing defenses, man. Really, by the end of the game, they're got to be fucking hurting. It's like, reminds me of, like Eddie George almost. I feel like he's running downhill, putting a hurting on people, breaking tackles. I like it. Keyshawn Vaughn looked good with his 5 carries, 42 yards. So nice for the Rook, just to look a little bit better here. Fournette was a scratch. So, yeah, what you're going to do what you're going to do now. There wasn't that much again on the outside here. Only 166 yards. There were a couple touchdowns here. Let's start on the outside with the wide receivers. Chris Godwin led the wide receivers in targets with 7. Caught 5 balls for 48 yards. Just good to see him back on the field. Again, under 10 points. You weren't thrilled by any means with that outcome. But, it didn't kill you, and he's on the field. You're happy about that. Let's see it going forward. Mike Evans, brutal. 2 targets, 1 catch, 10 yards. That hurts bad. That hurts big time. Who we got here? Tyler Johnson caught his only target for one of those touchdowns, a 7-yard touchdown. Scotty Miller did nothing. None of these guys. All right, let's go to Rob Gronk motherfucking Kelsey. 8 targets, caught 5 balls for 78 yards and a touchdown. Impressive, getting much more involved, and now, even with the weapons back, Godwin and Evans both on the field, the running game working. We're seeing Gronk heavily involved. Cameron Brate only had 1 target. I don't know. I might have been too quick to write Gronk off. It might be Gronk's season. I may have to eat it on that one. We'll talk about it, obviously, when we talk about our preview show. But for now, Gronk, man. Looking all right, buddy. Looking all right. Pretty good. All right, let's move to our night games here. Move to the rest of the slate. We got the 49ers. The 49ers hosting the Los Angeles Rams. Battle of Cali. And the Niners took care of business in the division. 24-16, moving to 3-3. Knocking the Rams down to 4-2. And keeping that division pretty close behind the undefeated Seahawks. I believe they're still undefeated. Still fighting for that second spot, and the 49ers take care of business here now. A little weird. We didn't expect this to happen with the Rams. We thought we had the running game pegged for a little bit more of a split. Didn't happen that way. Let's talk about Jared Goff, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Not a terrible game, but not a great game either. It was fine. You want to see a little more from them, hopefully, but didn't really happen. Couldn't really find his receivers very much. A lot of very inefficient work here. 19 for 38, 50% passing completion, 50% passing completion rate. Okay. Daryl Henderson ran the ball 14 times compared to only 2 for Malcolm Brown and 0 for Cam Akers. So that is a shocker. We definitely thought Cam Akers would be involved. He looked really good in his return last week, and want to ride the hot hand, yada yada yada. Daryl Henderson 14 for 88. Not a great game by any means. Didn't catch a pass, but somehow had 4 yards, no targets. I don't know what happened there. Weird. ESPN, Daryl Henderson, explain it. Maybe I'm wrong. 0 receptions for 4 yards on 0 targets. I don't know what that means. I don't know. Daryl Henderson going forward, is he the guy? You'll have to tune in later in the week to get our opinion. All right, let's go to the outside here. Robert Woods led the team in targets. Not too surprisingly with 10 targets. Only caught 4 balls for 29 yards. He got into the end zone. So, man, that touchdown obviously saves your day. 10 targets. You love seeing 10 targets, but woof, 4 and 10. Same thing with Cooper Kupp. He had 9 targets, caught 3 for 11 yards. So, all right, your top 2 receivers. Let me do the quick math here. 19 targets for your top 2 receivers. That's 7 receptions and 40 yards. That's gross. Gross. Josh Reynolds had 5 targets, caught 2 for 45 and a touchdown. So he had the other touchdown. And then Higbee caught 3 or 4 balls for 56 yards. Gerald Everett also had 4 targets, so equally as involved, but he caught 3 for 27. So the bigger plays went to Higbee this week, and not a great week by any means, but, I don't know if you played him or not. If you played him, you weren't that upset. You got points. There were tight ends that didn't do that, right? Let's look at the tight ends again. Let's see. Where were you? Higbee, number 16. Not that bad. Ahead of Jimmy Graham and Dalton Schultz and Zach Ertz. All guys who were definitely played. ahead of Robert Tonyan, ahead of Evan Ingram. So, yeah, ahead of Mark Andrews, ahead of all those dudes. So, yeah, that's fine. You're going to keep playing Tyler Higbee probably. All right, let's hit the Niners real quick. Jimmy G, 268 yards, 3 touchdowns for Garoppolo. Really good game after getting pulled last week. Nice to see him come back and, start taking care of biz there. Raheem Mostert, unfortunately, looks like he might be out for a few weeks. Might be going on IR. He had 65 yards on 17 carries. Before he left the game, he added 2 catches for 11 yards. So, not a big game on the ground for anyone, really. You had JaMychal Hasty getting in 9 rushing attempts compared to 6 for McKinnon. So, a little bit weird. We don't know when Tevin Coleman's coming back. I guess I can start looking at Tevin Coleman. I don't want to, but it might be smart to officially placed on IR. He'll be out about a month. Blah, blah, blah. I know it was 3 weeks ago. So, all right. Probably still not back with him. So, I don't know if it's McKinnon or JaMychal Hasty. Jeff Wilson is also questionable with an injury. So, we'll see what happens later in the week with these 49ers running backs. Deebo Samuel got back involved. He was the leading target guy for the wide receivers, again, specifically. Caught all 6 of his targets for 66 yards and a touchdown. So that's great. 8 targets last week, 6 targets this week. He's ready to rock, ready to go. Brandon Nyuk did get to the end zone. Disappointing other than that, though. Caught 2 of his 3 targets for 12 yards and a touchdown. So the touchdown saved his day if he played him. Still not a great day, only 3 targets. With Debo back and Kittle healthy, it might just be a 1-2 punch, and then everybody else is hoping to get some. Looks like that's going to be the deal here. So, George Kittle, another monster, 10 targets, caught 7 for 109 and a touchdown. Another beast game for George Kittle, man. Looking good. Number 2-ish wide receiver looks like. All good, man. All good, my bro. So, yeah, you're playing George Kittle, obviously. I mean, we don't need to talk about that on any kind of show at this point. All right, Monday Night Football. Monday. And the Bills and the Cowboys both, unfortunately, had a slight case of the Mondays, both taking those L's. Bills played pretty good. Bills kept themselves in that game. They played smart. They needed to run the ball more, but Kansas City goes into Buffalo, takes out the Bills 26-17. Chiefs move to 5-1. Buffalo's 4-2. Still in the driver's seat in the AFC East. Both these teams still in the lead of their division. But, Buffalo, their offense coming back down to earth a little bit here these last couple of weeks. And, going to try to refine that magic, next week. Let's look at Kansas City first here. So, Patrick Mahomes. Oh, did I hit the wrong button? What happened? All right, let's see here. Patrick Mahomes, 225 and 2 touchdowns. That's a fine game, Mr. Mahomes. 36 yards rushing. Mahomes owners are probably like, oh, blah, only, 20 points. Only quarterback 10. They're probably crying. But good game for Mahomes. And it didn't have to do that much. This is the first game I've ever seen them just run the ball down someone's throat. 26 carries for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. 161 freaking yards, man. 6.2 average. And it was a lot higher than that for a good chunk of the game. He also caught 4 balls for only 8 yards. But, hey, with that kind of rushing work, fine. All that would have helped would have been a touchdown. Daryl Williams kind of vultured that one. And listen, Williams was a little bit involved, but you're not worried about that at all. Obviously, we're waiting to see Mr. Bell when he reaches Kansas City. I don't think it's going to be very close between their share. And I'd be shocked if Le'Veon Bell touches the ball more than 6 or 8 times in any or most games. So, yep. All right, let's go to the outside here. A little bit quiet, as you should expect. Demarcus Robinson led all wide receivers in targets here for the Chiefs. 5 catches, 69 yards. We had Byron Pringle catch both of his passes for 46 yards. And then we had Tyreek Hill, unfortunately, laid a bit of an egg here, caught all 3 of his targets for only 20 yards, and that's not going to do it for Tyreek Hill owners. And another big part of the reason why people had low scores this week, man. I mean, Hill was also bad, but Travis Kelsey was not. Travis Kelsey had 7 targets, caught 5 balls, 65 yards. And yeah, you guessed it, both of those touchdowns go to Travis Kelsey. So what you going to do? Well, you're going to stop this man. You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. And you can't even do that. So, yeah. All right. Yeah, Kansas City, you're playing your fucking Chiefs. I mean, like I said, it might be a Demarcus Robinson week. It turned out to be one, which didn't mean much for the receivers. But, oh yeah, where's McCall Hardman? I got to mention him because he only had 1 target. No catches. 1 target, McCall Hardman. Like I said, if you twisted my arm, I'd have to pick Hardman over Robinson, but it's hard to say that's a slam dunk. Josh Allen, rough day for Josh Allen, 122 yards passing, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Also added 42 yards on the ground. So yeah, it was not a great day for Josh Allen. He was middle of the pack wide receiver or quarterback 2, around number 17. Not good. Also not good is that they can't run the ball well. They don't get good chunk plays on the ground almost ever. Devin Singletary ran the ball 10 times for 32 yards. Zach Moss ran the ball 5 times for 10 yards. So just really, really bad here with their yards per carry. Not going to do it for you. Neither one involved in the passing game. Singletary caught one of his 2 targets for 13 yards. So Singletary was a bad play this week. Hard to know with him what's going to happen moving forward. Probably got to keep him on your bench. Stefan Diggs led the way again. 8 targets, 6 catches, 46 yards, and another touchdown. Continues to go beast for the Bills. Cole Beasley, 7 targets, 4 receptions, 45 yards and a touchdown. Really nice game for Beasley. I definitely put it out there for a lot of people to play Cole this week. Hopefully they did. John Brown, man, that's tough because he was a little bit more of a decoy. Even though he was out there, he was targeted 4 times, didn't catch any balls. And it was just tough. It was tough, man. John Brown, we'll see next week. But I think Cole Beasley in most weeks is going to be startable either way as a high floor, low ceiling flex, whether or not John Brown is in. So, yeah. All right, late game on Monday. Arizona Cardinals travel to Dallas, take on the Dakless Cowboys. Oh, Dakless Cowboys instead of Dallas, get it? And just whooped their ass, man. Opened up a can in Dallas. 38-10, the Cardinals win and move to 4-2. 4-2, and they move the Cowboys down to 2-4, still leading their division. How do you like that? 2-4 ahead in the NFC East. Whew, it's a beautiful thing. Kyler Murray had a really nice game here. 188 yards through the air. Weird game though. Only completed 9 passes. 9 for out of 24 attempts. 188 yards with those 2 touchdowns, but also 74 yards rushing and a touchdown on 10 attempts. So big game. Big game for Mr. Kyler Murray here. Looks like the quarterback 5-ish. Might really be the quarterback 4, but, we'll see. And then Kenyon Drake finally had a game. Listen, I'm not going to spend too much time on it because some of it was a 69-yard garbage time touchdown run. But take it. Get some confidence. Get some confidence for him. Get some confidence in him for them. And maybe we move forward because, Chase Edmonds only had 5 carries to Kenyon Drake's 20. So 20 for 164 and 2 for Kenyon Drake, 5 for 23 for Edmonds. And then Edmonds was, a little bit more involved in the passing game per se. They both had 2 targets. Drake didn't catch either one of his. Edmonds caught 1 for 6. So not involved really almost at all. But you love to see the split for Kenyon Drake. You want to see a big play. Just anything fucking positive for Kenyon Drake makes you feel good right now. For me, it was too little too late. In the one league where I have shares of Kenyon Drake, but I'm still happy to see it. All right, DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, he led the way with 8 targets. Only caught 2 balls for 73 yards. That's kind of brutal. The big game was Christian Kirk. Second big game in a row, I believe. Caught 2 of his 3 targets for 86 yards, and he had both of the touchdowns. So obviously, very big game for Christian Kirk here. And, all of a sudden working himself back into fantasy relevance after, being kind of cast off by myself and some other folks. But yeah, he's had 2 good weeks in a row. He scored the week before that. Yeah. All right. I hear you. I see you, Christian Kirk. And then Larry Fitz, 3 or 4 for 22. Can't do anything about that. All right. The Cowboys with Andy Dalton under center. Wasn't great, but, we'll see how they build on this. 266 yards through the air for Andy Dalton, 1 touchdown and 2 picks. Need to get the running back, the running game working a little bit more. Obviously, if you saw the game, you saw Zeke fumble twice and lose both of them. Kind of killed the momentum there a bunch of times when they were trying to get something going. Zeke ran 12 times for 49 yards, and then Pollard got 10 rushes for 31 yards. I assume a good amount of that has something to do with those fumbles. Zeke, on the other hand, not on the other hand, but luckily, did get targeted 11 times out of the backfield. That's crazy. Got 8 balls for 31 yards. That saves his week. You get 8 for 31 as an 11-point PPR boost, and then all of a sudden you are the running back 18. That's not too bad. Running back, right in the middle of running back 2 when you had 49 yards rushing. So, and your team got their ass kicked and scored 10 points. Not too bad. All right, let's go to the outside here. So there were plenty of targets for, the top 2 wide receivers here. You had 10 each for Cooper and Lamb. Cooper caught 7 of his 10 targets for 79 and a touchdown. Lamb caught 7 for 64. So very good game for Cooper. Pretty good game for Lamb. Michael Gallup, 6 targets, 2 receptions, 23 yards. He's still the odd man out. And that just sucks. And Dalton Schultz caught 4 or 5 targets for 35 yards. So not bad. You can continue to play Dalton Schultz. We'll talk about that again, of course, in our, preview show for Week 7 coming up on Thursday. But I think you're going to be fine playing Dalton Schultz. It's always about your options, right? As always. So that was the last game on the slate. That was it for Week 6. The Raiders, Saints, Chargers, and Seahawks were on a bye in Week 6, so we didn't get to see them. They'll all be back next week. I know all you Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf owners, Chris Carson, Russell Wilson, everybody wants to get them back on the field. Josh Jacobs owners, yeah, man. All right, so who's on a bye next week? Let's see. The Indianapolis Colts, the Dolphins, the Vikings, and the Ravens. So, gives Dalvin Cook another week to rest. Lamar Jackson owners will be hurting for this 1 week. And, Adam Thielen owners, Dalvin Cook. Let's see, some Dolphins, people that are streaming Dolphins, Jonathan Taylor owners. But overall, not too bad of a week for fantasy buys. Not too bad. So, all right. That's going to do it. That's the end of our reaction shows. That is part 2. That's all the games. All right. So, getting ready for waiver wires. Hopefully you listened. Get an idea of who to pick up, who's been playing well. These guys that you need to get, for this upcoming weeks. Running backs, there's really not much out there. There's not many guys that need to be picked up right now. Boston Scott is on that short list, depending on what happens with the Miles Sanders injury. Gio Bernard is on that short list, depending on what happens with the Joe Mixon injury, right? Keep an eye on that stuff. Deandre Swift, if he's out there on your waiver wire, keep an eye out for him. And then there's wide receivers everywhere. Chase Claypool should be gone. Travis Fulgham should be gone, but maybe he's not. I mean, there's guys out there. So just keep an eye on your waiver wire here. Put in a good claim for somebody that's usable tonight. Get rid of the extra baggage and shit on your bench. Guys that aren't doing dick all, cut the cord. All right. That's going to do it for us, the GOAT Fantasy Football Podcast. Thanks again for joining us. As always, like, share, subscribe, do all that bullshit for us. Let your friends know if you use any of our picks. You owe it to us. If we help you win, that you should let people know, hey, we got a new place where we're getting fantasy football advice. Dude just tells it like it is, and that's it. It moves along. So, all right. Have a great day, everybody. We will see you soon. Take it easy from from me to you. I don't know what I was trying to say here. From here, take it easy from here. I'm really not sure, but have a great rest of your day, and we will talk to you next time.